next.
Good afternoon, former agent.
No, I'm actually a retired investigator, but I was a former task force officer.
Retired investigator.
Oh, she is
Okay,
retired.
Retired investigator Underwood. My name is Max Schardt. I represent Shannon Stillwell, okay?
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good.
All right, good. First of all, I just want to get one thing out of the way. And I know you were answering a question. You brought up some Atlantic Station incident. That has nothing to do with this case,
Oh,
correct?
no, it has nothing to do with this case.
Okay.
It was just referencing gang violence.
Okay, cool. You, in preparation, you knew you were going to be testifying eventually, and you provided a CV
I did.
to the state, correct?
I did. It's probably been a while, though, since, because I might have updated it since I did my Daubert, maybe.
Okay. Yes, I understand. On Friday, when the state was asking about some of your background experiences, you were asked, have you received training on how gangs use music to promote violence? And you answered yes.
I have.
Okay, could you tell me the name of that class and who taught it and when that occurred?
I have attended like the Georgia Gang Investigation Association training where, and I can't remember the name of the individual. I know Marissa Viverito has taught one at APD, but when I went to the GGIA one, I can't remember the name of the instructor, but I've had like at least 2 or 3 classes.
So Marissa Viverito is someone who worked for the DA's office in Fulton County, correct?
She used to.
And she's also worked for the state of Georgia, correct?
Yes.
And you know her to be on the witness list for this case, correct? Okay, so she taught that class.
She taught one of them.
Okay.
I've been to more than one.
Well, who specifically talked about how gangs use music? What individual, what professor, or was it an artist that talked about that? Who was it?
It wasn't a professor, it was law enforcement.
Oh, law enforcement. And who was the law enforcement?
The one that I do remember recently was Marissa. She taught one at APD.
All right. Marissa Viverito, who used to work for the DA's office. Okay. So there was no one from the music industry, no artists or anything there. Okay.
No.
How gangs, you were asked if you had training in how gangs use music to promote fear in other gangs. Again, who were the musicians or anyone that spoke to you about that?
No musicians.
Okay.
The classes that I've taken have been all from law enforcement when it came to gangs. My other classes at
The
Columbia
blind leading the
Southern were
blind.
professors, but they didn't talk about gangs.
Okay. And how gangs use music to promote fear in other gangs. What date was that? Who taught you about that?
I told you what class. I don't remember the instructor on one of them, but I do. Like I said, the most recent one at APD within the last 3 years. It might have been while she was still here. She taught that one. That's the one that stands out. But I did go to one down in South Fulton as well, but it was like a GGIA training.
You were asked how gangs use. You were asked about your training or education and how gangs use music to promote cohesiveness. Who taught that class? Is that the same answer?
It would be the same, yes.
Okay, so no one from the music industry, and it seems like
every class was law enforcement.
And the one that you're speaking of is Investigator Viverito, who's on the state's witness list for this case.
That's one of them.
Okay. And the same answer would be for your experience when the state asked you how gang members use music to send messages to rival gangs. Would those be your same answers?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then you were asked by the state here, among other things, to talk about lyrics in this case, and you've been speaking about specific lyrics.
Yes.
Okay, in that Bad Boy video, you didn't recognize the other artist?
No.
The
I don't
Juice
know who
WRLD?
that is.
You ever hear Juice WRLD?
I've heard of it, but that's not anybody that came on the radar because he haven't probably committed a crime here in Atlanta.
Okay. So as I understand it, in preparation of this testimony, and correct me if I get the timing wrong, sometime last week, the state gave you some music videos to review or some songs to review.
Yes,
Okay. How many?
the three,
Okay. It was just those three.
just these three.
Okay. And they were all songs by Jeffrey Williams.
Yes.
Okay. Did they not ask you to review a song called Homicide, written and performed by Lil Woody featuring Fagiano?
Never heard of it, no.
Have you ever watched that video?
I haven't.
Okay. Are you aware of this song?
No.
You aware that in that music video, in that song, Woody talks about putting money on someone else's head?
Not aware.
Are you aware that the person he talks about putting money on their head is a heavy-set African-American male?
Not aware of that.
Are you aware that the person he conspires with in that video to kill the heavy-set African-American male is Trevante Turner?
And I would say objection vague as to, are you talking about what happened in the video?
Yes.
Music video, or, so
I haven't seen the video.
Okay, so you're not aware that Trevante Turner played the role of the hitman in Woody's video where
I haven't seen that
he
video.
depicts killing a heavyset African-American male. Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
All right, are there any other defense counsel questions? No. All right, is there redirect?
So we look at the music that might look bad for Jeffrey Williams. We don't look at anyone that collaborates with him in a song, even if we're looking at lyrics within that song that we say are supposedly evidence of Jeffrey Williams committing a crime. But when there's other, and not for nothing, but they said that Trevante Turner and Kenneth Copeland were supposed to be associates of YSL as well. So why wouldn't we look at lyrics like the lyrics in the song Homicide? Why wouldn't we look at the people in the video and making that song? Great effective close. Not for nothing, I get that she couldn't get into it because she says she hasn't seen it, and that's also, I would make an inference there if I was a juror, like, why didn't she look at that? Did the state not want her to look at it? Because they sure dropped a bunch of stuff. They curate what they want their experts to look at. But I'd remember that video if I was a juror.
Mr. Steele asked you when he was questioning you if any of these lyrics mention Donovan